Trump just issued an urgent message to gun owners across America, and it's one of the most serious warnings we've ever heard from him. He's calling it a turning point for the Second Amendment, and according to insiders, what he revealed behind closed doors could change the future of gun rights forever. This isn't a speech you'll see on cable news. The mainstream outlets are completely silent about it. But make no mistake, what Trump just exposed has already triggered a wave of reactions from the DOJ, federal regulators, and even international agencies. If you believe in the right to bear arms, if you believe the Constitution still means something, then stay right where you are, because this message could decide whether millions of law-abiding Americans keep their firearms or lose them under a new system that's quietly being built as we speak. And I'm warning you, this information might not stay online for long. Today, I'm breaking down Trump's 3 major warnings to all gun owners, what they mean for your rights, and how close we really are to a nationwide system of firearm restrictions without a single law being passed by Congress. Let's dive in. Trump's first warning is about what he calls federal overreach in disguise. According to sources close to the former president, he's been briefed on a series of quiet executive actions that could bypass Congress entirely and expand federal authority over firearm transactions. We're talking about a network of interagency coordination between the ATF, the DOJ, and even the Treasury Department designed to monitor and flag high-risk firearm activity. The scary part? The term high risk isn't legally defined. That means it could include almost anyone collectors, small gun shop owners, even first-time buyers who purchase more than one firearm in a 6-month period. Trump warned that these changes aren't happening through public debate. They're happening through regulation creep, where agencies issue new guidelines, not laws, that end up being enforced like laws. He said, they know they can't take your guns directly, so they're building a system that makes it impossible to own one. Documents leaked earlier this year show that financial institutions have already been instructed to report suspicious firearm-related spending to the government. That includes purchases from ammo suppliers, parts dealers, and even range memberships in some cases. This isn't a theory, it's happening. Banks and credit processors are labeling firearm-related transactions with new merchant category codes, allowing regulators to track gun purchases across state lines in real time. And according to Trump, this is just the beginning. They don't need to pass gun control. He said, they're building it into the system, one code, one regulation, one policy at a time. Trump's second warning exposes something even darker, what he calls the digital tracking network. Behind the scenes, major tech companies and federal agencies are quietly developing systems that could connect firearm ownership to digital IDs, payment platforms, and even cloud-based databases. Think about it. We already know the government uses data from social media, cell phones, and financial apps to track behavior. Now imagine that power being used to monitor gun ownership. Trump claims this digital web is being justified as a public safety upgrade, but the real goal is data control. He said, once they digitize gun ownership, freedom becomes permission, and permission can be taken away. Recent federal grant documents back this up. The DOJ's Community Violence Intervention Initiative includes language about modernizing data collection for firearm monitoring. Buried in that funding report is a phrase that should make every gun owner pause: integration with national risk assessment databases. That's bureaucratic language for real-time tracking. And it doesn't stop there. Private tech firms are also developing what they call smart compliance systems, essentially software that monitors gun sales, serial numbers, and user data across multiple states. These systems claim to prevent illegal activity, but the data pipelines feed directly into law enforcement and policy analysis centers. Trump warned that this will eventually lead to a federal registry by default without Congress ever voting on it. He said, "It's not a registry they admit to. It's one they build piece by piece, until one day you wake up and realize they already know everything." And if that sounds far-fetched, remember this. Earlier this year, the ATF admitted it had digitized over 900 million firearm transaction records from defunct gun dealers. 900 million. That's not oversight. That's infrastructure. Trump's third and most alarming warning goes beyond U.S. borders. He says the Biden administration and several international organizations are quietly aligning on what he calls a global compliance model, a framework that could force the U.S. to adopt foreign standards for firearm tracking, manufacturing, and distribution. In plain English, the United States would be pressured into following United Nations guidelines that redefine what civilian ownership means. Trump pointed out that the UN Arms Trade Treaty, which he formally rejected during his presidency, is being revived through what's called voluntary alignment. That means the U.S. isn't officially rejoining, but agencies are adopting its rules anyway. According to leaked policy drafts, these new standards would require American dealers to report firearms sales data in formats compatible with international law enforcement databases. That includes information on serial numbers, owners, and even storage conditions. It's a move that effectively hands over American data sovereignty to global institutions. Trump said, "Once foreign bodies get access to our firearm data, it's over. You'll have global surveillance over American rights." Even more disturbing, several states are already aligning with these global frameworks. California, New York, and New Jersey have all passed firearms safety legislation that mirrors UN recommendations word for word. This isn't coordination, it's compliance. And Trump is warning that once these standards become embedded in the system, they'll be nearly impossible to reverse. "You can't undo what's already integrated," he said. "If you want to stop it, you have to stop it now." Another part of Trump's urgent message focuses on something most Americans aren't even aware of, what he calls the financial chokehold strategy. Gun stores, ammunition suppliers, and even small training facilities are being cut off from the financial system. Banks are quietly closing accounts, denying loans, and classifying firearm-related businesses as high risk. Between 2022 and 2024, over 400 small firearms businesses had their merchant accounts terminated without any legal cause. Trump argues that this isn't random. It's a coordinated financial war on the Second Amendment. He said they know they can't pass a gun ban, so they're starving out the industry that makes gun ownership possible. It's the same pattern seen in other countries before large-scale disarmament campaigns. First, they restrict manufacturing and sales. Then they make ownership so complicated and expensive that participation drops naturally. And when fewer people own guns, it becomes politically easier to legislate them away. That's exactly what Trump is warning against. Trump's message also hinted at a coming legal confrontation that could define the Second Amendment for a generation. He's reportedly preparing to back several state-level lawsuits challenging federal overreach, particularly those involving ATF rule changes on pistol braces, background checks, and private transfers. But Trump warned that this fight will be uphill. "You're not just fighting bad policy," he said. "You're fighting a system built to make you think you still have a choice." Legal experts believe the next 18 months will determine how far agencies can go in enforcing gun control without congressional approval. Several Supreme Court cases, including one expected next term, could set precedents that either protect or permanently weaken the Second Amendment's foundation. Trump is urging Americans to stay vocal, informed, and ready. "If you think your rights are safe because of one court ruling, you haven't been paying attention," he said. "They're not stopping, they're just getting smarter." Despite the grim tone, Trump's message wasn't just a warning, it was a call to action. He urged gun owners, patriots, and everyday Americans to push back through state legislatures, elections, and advocacy. According to Trump, the battle for the Second Amendment isn't happening in Washington. It's happening in local communities, where small legal changes add up to massive national impact. He said, "Every local victory counts. Every election matters. The system they're building depends on your silence." This message has already sparked responses from major gun rights organizations, with several announcing plans to challenge new ATF and financial restrictions in federal court. Grassroots movements across states like Texas, Florida, and Montana are also organizing public hearings and petitions to block new compliance mandates. Trump's warning has reignited a conversation that the media hoped would stay quiet. In the closing moments of his message, Trump delivered what he called his final warning. He said, "America is standing on the edge of what he described as a silent disarmament, one that doesn't require gun confiscation or new laws, just quiet compliance through corporate policy and regulatory control. They're not coming for your guns with force," he said. "They're coming for them with forms, fees, and digital codes." He warned that if these systems aren't stopped within the next 24 months, they'll become permanent infrastructure, baked into every financial network, every background check, every online database. And once that happens, even a future administration couldn't fully reverse it. "The Second Amendment doesn't disappear overnight," Trump said. "It fades away one regulation at a time, until one day you realize freedom became a privilege." That's why he's urging gun owners to act now, to stay informed, stay united, and refuse to be silent. So here's the bottom line. Trump's urgent message isn't just about politics. It's about a coordinated effort, federal, financial, and international, that's slowly tightening around your rights. Whether you support him or not, every gun owner needs to pay attention to what he's exposing, because once this system locks in, it won't matter who's in office. If you believe Americans have the right to defend themselves, to protect their families, and to live free under the Constitution, this is the moment to stand up. Drop a comment right now, telling me what you think about Trump's warning and which part of his message hits you the hardest. And make sure to hit subscribe, because I'll be breaking down each part of this plan with documents, timelines, and sources that the mainstream media refuses to show you. This isn't just another headline. This is a 2A emergency, and it's happening right now